morning, everybody. As you know, we have a big Syria session this morning. The open session is called on humanitarian issues. We are extremely concerned about the situation around Idlib, where there are almost 3 million civilians. We believe they are at risk of regime assault. We have some interesting questions we want to probe on where exactly the regime forces have been relocated to. And, of course, at the back of everyone's mind is the risk of another chemical weapons attack, such as we have seen in eastern Ghouta. So all those questions, along with supplies getting into Idlib, will be the things we'll be discussing in the session.
What do you say about those who say that this chemical attack is orchestrated by some Western governments who are warning about it?
Well, I think we need to be very clear about who's saying that. Only one country is saying that, and that country is Russia. The Russian Ministry of Defense has been issuing briefings to that effect. I think even by the egregious standards of Russian propaganda, this is an extraordinary fake news story. The commander of British forces in the coalition, Major General Felix Gedney, who is based in Kuwait, has said already that the claims are ridiculous. I repeat again, they are absurd. Of course, we are not going to do anything remotely akin to a chemical weapons attack. We take our chemical weapons prohibition responsibilities extremely seriously. The people who don't take them seriously are the Syrians. We have seen an odd correlation before in eastern Ghouta between letters that the Syrian government send to the UN to be followed by a chemical weapons attack in eastern Ghouta, that the Syrian authorities then turn round and say, oh, look, we were right. This attack has been carried out by other people. We think that's a smokescreen. We very much hope the same doesn't happen in Idlib. But I think if there is any probable explanation for chlorine being moved into the area, it lies with the Syrian authorities. The Russians are the guarantors of Syria giving up her chemical weapons. I think it would be much better if the Russian MOD and Russian authorities brought all their persuasive powers to bear on the Syrian regime not to use chemical weapons and not to attack their own people in Idlib, as opposed to fabricating these stories about other members of the P5.
Given that there are many terrorist organizations in Idlib, why do you rule out that they would perpetrate such an attack?
Because this story comes from the Russians, and as I have explained, it is much more likely to be a smokescreen for things that the Syrian authorities are planning to do. The way to deal with any terrorists who are in Idlib is to ask the UN to negotiate safe passage, such as has been done before.
Do you have any sign that that a chemical attack is being prepared?
We ourselves, as far as I know, do not have information about chlorine stocks being moved into the area. I find it fascinating that the Russians claim to do so, and as I say, I doubt that there is an innocent explanation for that. If it's true, it may, of course, just be a Russian smokescreen. Thank you very much.